Has America quietly drawn up a secret new underground war plan for China, turning the very crust of the Earth into the next battlefield of the 21st century? Could the US one day literally dig under China's nuclear defenses, using tunneling vehicles to bypass mountains and hardened sites instead of flying over them? Is the US now readying a radical new war tactic that could turn China's protective tunnel networks into potential death traps rather than safe havens? Are Chinese mountains no longer truly safe as talk of US tunneling vehicles sparks panic in Beijing over what a future conflict might look like beneath the ground? Chinese analysts have warned that the US could open a deadly new underground battlefront in any future conflict, forcing Beijing to rethink how it defends its territory. A Chinese think tank has specifically warned of a possible US underground warfare threat, describing subterranean operations as a rising strategic concern. According to the South China Morning Post, the report was published by the Guodong think tank, which focuses on military and security issues inside China. The SCMP says US defense firms are now exploring subterrane tunneling vehicles, machines designed to carve paths underground for military use. The concept envisions vehicles moving beneath the Earth's surface much like submarines move through the sea, hidden from traditional sensors and defenses. A subterrane is an underground vehicle concept proposed by Endural founder Palmer Luckey, who believes the subterranean domain is the next warfighting arena. It is designed to move beneath the Earth's surface, burrowing through rock and soil instead of navigating air or sea like traditional platforms. Analysts often compare these systems to submarines operating underwater, but relocated beneath land where detection is far more difficult. In theory, subterranes could bypass mountains, borders, and surface fortifications, reaching targets that were previously protected by terrain. The concept is intended for future underground military operations, where troops, weapons, and sensors might all move below ground instead of on it. China reportedly fears that such subterranean systems could bypass its mountain defenses entirely and penetrate deep into its strategic hinterland. The think tank warned that any surprise underground strike would greatly reduce warning time, limiting China's ability to respond before critical assets are hit. One of China's biggest concerns is that existing early warning systems may simply fail underground, where current radars and sensors cannot see. Civil defense tunnels built to shelter civilians and leadership could instead be infiltrated or attacked from below, undermining decades of investment. The report suggests much stronger nuclear, biological, and chemical protection may become necessary for underground facilities in the future. Underground attacks could carry additional radiological risks if strikes hit buried nuclear or industrial sites, spreading contamination through tunnels. Chemical and biological agents may also spread more easily through enclosed tunnel networks, turning subterranean systems into conduits for hazards. The U.S. Army issued a formal operational doctrine for subterranean warfare back in 2019, signaling that underground combat is no longer a fringe idea. Army documents note that underground terrain can shield troops from modern surveillance systems, making tunnels attractive for future operations. Cross-domain training, combining infantry, engineers, intelligence, and CBRN units, is said to be central to any future U.S. underground operations. The Chinese think tank has called for a full national strategy to counter future underground threats, elevating subterranean defense to a strategic priority. The report recommends detailed military geological surveys to map and strengthen underground defenses across key regions of the country. It also urges the development of new detection tools and updated military training doctrines, so Chinese forces are ready if the next war really moves beneath the surface. China's sixth-generation fighter program is surging ahead, with reports now confirming that a fifth prototype has already entered flight tests, signaling just how fast Beijing is moving. On July 23, new footage surfaced showing China flight testing what analysts say is the fifth prototype of its very heavy, ultra-long-range sixth-generation combat aircraft. Questions quickly grew over whether footage from an earlier sighting may have shown this same new aircraft, hinting that more prototypes could be flying than publicly acknowledged. The observed jet appeared somewhat different in shape and proportions, but poor image quality has clouded the full view and left analysts debating exactly what China has in the air. Chengdu currently builds the J-20, China's premier fifth-generation stealth fighter, which has quietly become the backbone of the country's high-end air combat fleet. The PLA Air Force is estimated to be acquiring between 100 and 120 new J-20s every year, a production tempo that far outpaces most Western fighter programs. As a result, around 500 J-20 fighters are now believed to be serving with China's Air Force, giving Beijing one of the largest stealth fleets anywhere in the world. Two distinct sixth-generation types are expected to eventually succeed the entire J-20 fleet, splitting China's future air dominance role between different mission sets. Chengdu is reportedly developing an ultra-long-range, ultra-heavy combat aircraft for China, designed to project air power far beyond the country's immediate neighborhood. Meanwhile, Shenyang is building a lighter, but still very heavy fighter type that appears closer to J-20 dimensions, potentially giving the PLA more flexibility in how it fields sixth-gen jets. The first Chengdu sixth-generation prototype reportedly flew on December 26, 2024, marking the start of a test campaign that has progressed at remarkable speed. Within just months, at least 5 separate prototypes have already entered flight testing, suggesting a level of industrial and engineering focus rarely seen in modern fighter programs. Early service entry for these jets was once thought likely only in the early 2030s, in line with typical development timelines for such complex aircraft. Some analysts now estimate that operational deployment could happen as early as 2029 to 2030, shaving years off the original expectations if testing continues at this pace. This rapid prototype progress strongly suggests the program enjoys clear funding priority in Beijing, placing it at the very top of China's air power modernization agenda. An earlier deployment of China's sixth-generation fighters could significantly shift the military balance of power in East Asia, forcing neighbors and the US to rethink their own roadmaps. This new fighter program feeds directly into China's broader modernization of its aerial warfare capabilities, tying sensor, missile, and support networks into a single forward-leaning ecosystem. Beijing is simultaneously developing new satellites, long-range air-to-air missiles, next-generation AEW&C platforms and tankers, all of which are meant to complement these future fighters. Chengdu's sixth-generation fighter is described as being designed for ultra-long-range missions across the Pacific, allowing China to project air power far from its home bases. The aircraft may be able to operate beyond regular AEW&C and tanker support coverage, forcing China to build more organic range and sensing into the jet itself. Refueling support may still be available near Chinese-controlled territory, giving the jet forward reach while keeping its logistical lifelines anchored closer to home. Its unusually large nose cone could potentially house what analysts speculate might be the world's largest dedicated air combat radar, dramatically increasing detection range and target tracking capacity. Such a powerful onboard radar may reduce China's dependence on separate airborne early warning aircraft, allowing the fighter itself to serve as a sensor node deep inside contested airspace. Combined with advanced stealth shaping and high agility, this sensor suite could dramatically improve the jet's chances of surviving inside hostile-controlled airspace while still prosecuting long-range missions.